Hey there, welcome back to the channel. There's a really good chance that when you think of pushing a baby out in labor, you only think of one position, which is that typical semi-reclined on your back position. But I have put together my top 5 positions that I recommend for pushing, and none of them are that position. These are all 5 different positions that you can push in. And let's just start with number 1, which is my actual favorite. And I like this one because it is available to you if you are unmedicated or medicated. So if you have an epidural, you can also do this position. It's super easy to get to from the classic pushing position on your back, holding up your legs. You can just turn to your side and do the sideline position. I like the sideline position so much because it's so accessible to everyone. It's easy for you to get yourself into, and sometimes if you have an epidural and you want to get into some of the other positions I'm going to share, you really need some help from your support person, support people, and your labor and delivery nurse. But the sideline one is just so easy. The other thing that's really cool about sideline is that it's an asymmetric position. So your body is doing 2 different things. One leg is usually down, kind of straight on the bed, and the other one you're holding up. So it's kind of changing up that pelvis in a different way, and you can do it on both sides of your body. So sideline is not only my first one, but it's actually my number 1 pushing position. Pushing position number 2 is hands and knees. So it's just like it sounds. It's on the bed and you're pushing with your knees on the bed and your hands on the bed, kind of like a tabletop position in yoga. Hands and knees can be a little bit harder if you have an epidural. If you're not able to support your own weight, this position might not be available to you. But many people, and especially many people these days with epidurals, are having a lighter epidural where they're having a little bit more ability to support their own weight. And that can be something that you talk to your anesthesiologist about, and whether or not you have ability to get into this position. But the hands and knees position is a great position for pushing. I'm going to warn you that some doctors get a little worried about this position, and they're really more worried about trying to catch the baby in this position, because baby will basically come out upside down of what they are used to catching a baby. I usually teach my childbirth ed students that, pushing can be a long time. Pushing can be 2-3 hours sometimes. And that means that we can change positions several times. And if we have a provider that isn't comfortable or experienced in catching a baby in that hands and knees position, we might not want to birth in that position because they aren't going to be at their best for it. And so we could do the vast majority of our pushing in different positions like hands and knees. And then the last couple pushes before baby comes out, we can move into a position that is more comfortable for the provider to catch the baby. Totally up to you and what you feel comfortable for, but that is an idea, especially if you get some pushback in pushing in that position. Pushback on pushing. Anyway, okay, let's move on to number 3. Number 3 is similar, and that's the kneeling position. So you're kneeling on the bed like hands and knees, but instead of your hands being straight in front of your knees, you're actually going to be leaning on the back of the bed with the bed propped up. This is another really good one to try. I especially feel like most of my doula clients spend some time in this position when they're pushing. Same kind of deal with your provider might not be super comfortable catching in this position, but you can push in this position very effectively. It's great because it's a good one to make use of gravity, right? We are upright in that position. And it's really nice. I really like the fact that we're upright in that position, and that can be a good one. We can also make that into an asymmetrical position if we take our foot and turn it into an asymmetric kneel. And so we can push it that way too, which is really cool. Another option for that position. So here we are. We are 3 out of 5 in. If you have found anything in this video so far helpful, give it a like, and I'd really appreciate it. Okay, moving on to number 4 in our pushing positions, and we've got the squat bar. So the squat bar, the position is actually squatting using the squat bar. The squat bar goes on the end of a hospital bed, and it allows you to easily get into that squatting position. Now, again, the cool thing about this is that since it's on the bed, it might be available to you even if you have an epidural. If you have some feeling in your legs and ability to support your legs, you can get into a squat position using the squat bar. It's a great option for labor. It's one that also makes use of that upright position and gravity, which is really cool, and I love that. So if you're interested in that, you can always ask your nurse, before pushing starts, just say, hey, I might want to make use of the squat bar. Do you have one that you can put on this bed? And then she can find it in that closet somewhere, supply closet. I remember a hospital in Atlanta, it was almost like whenever the doulas came in, they would ask for the squat bar, and the nurses had to run around and figure out where they hid the squat bar, which is kind of funny. Okay, the last one is one that I feel like has recently taken social media by storm. I'm hearing a lot about it, and I have had clients use it during their pushing phases too. And what we're calling it is knees together. So a lot of these positions that I've already talked about, the sideline, the kneeling, the hands and knees, they are all usually set up for your knees to be out and kind of opening up. But using the knees together position is getting in any of those positions, and even that semi-reclined position, and putting your knees together and your calves out. So it feels a little awkward sometimes to be in that position, but if you can imagine kneeling and leaning over the back of the bed, instead of having your knees out like this, putting your knees in with your ankles out. So it's a great thing to try. It can be very easy to just give a few pushes in that position. It changes up your pelvis in a different way and sometimes can really help that baby move on out. So the traditional pushing position is not the only one you have to use. If you used a different pushing position in labor, I'd love to get a comment. Let me know what you did. And I'm going to put a link right here to another of the top 5 videos that you'll want to check out. And if you are not a subscriber to the channel, now's a great time to do that. I would love to have you here, and I'll see you here next time. Bye.